Good afternoon and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Yes, as you expect, Kris Boyd and his new Meltdown friend who want to reminisce about times gone by and an old Rangers and how this current Rangers team just can't cut it, can they?
Well, I like the discussion about how you stop Callum McGregor. It's easier said than done. The first couple of minutes of the game, it must have happened by accident, but Sterling just seemed to bolt on him, and I thought, oh, that's a wee bit different. He's maybe just going to try and get a dog and just sit on him as Stan's saying there and follow him around. Don't let him dictate the game. But
Woof, woof.
the biggest thing that they've got, the problem that they've got, Rangers, is that the 3 versus the 3 in there, for me, is a mismatch in terms of football and ability. So if you just go and you just try and flood that area where Callum McGregor lives in and just stop him, then Hatate pulls you there, Bernardo, but also one of the fullbacks go in. So there's always an overload. This is what Callum McGregor's talking about. They get overloaded in the middle of the pitch. They keep the wide players wide to isolate your fullbacks, and then it's a mismatch. But for me, the control Rangers had in the game was early on. The warning shot they got off
Well, the first 10 minutes that you played
with was not good. They didn't pay heed to that, Rangers, because their discipline absolutely exploded. Connor Barron's got loads of energy, and by the way, he's done well, the kid coming into this team, but he should not be that control and influence. Of course he has to try and be that, but he's away, Diamandi's away, Sterling's away, and when it gets played through, there's nothing there. It's been highlighted so many times. That comes from your coaching department to say, look, we can't disappear. There must be a balance in the team. You can go and counter-attack. You can control the numbers going forward. 5 to go in attack, 5 to be a little bit of balance, or at times maybe a 6 and a 4. But at no time should we just empty that space. Everybody knows how Celtic play. And you're talking about how you stop someone. I played in a team where obviously the big man beside us was up top for Celtic, but Paul Lambert used to try and dictate the game, and then they had maybe Lenny or Alan Thompson or Stilly in there.
That was 20 years ago. Is he really talking about a team from 20 years ago? How many titles have we won since then? Hasn't James Forrest won around about 24 individual trophies himself since those days?
But what we had was, it wasn't like we just go and stop Paul Lambert. We trust.
And James Forrest has had 500 games for Celtic since those days.
On midfielders, they were good players. We actually, when we get in possession of the football,
Neil, that's the issue though. I mean, I'm listening to it. We keep going on about, the midfield battle is so key. Celtic are better than Rangers all over the pitch.
Yeah,
yep.
And that's it. That's the difficulty, Kris. That's what I'm talking about. It's all right stopping Callum McGregor, but then you've got the other 2 in there, and then you've got the wide players that are just standing there saying, right, give me the ball, because Maeda knows he's got James Tavernier for pace. James Tavernier knows that. Kuhn on the other side is up against Yefte. I don't think he's really announced himself that he can be a really good 1v1 defender. So all round that pitch today, Celtic were better. I thought they were sharper. I thought they looked more...
It's the look on Chris Sutton's face, like, are you going to shut up your greeting and let me talk?
There was more hunger in their game to bite into challenges, and most importantly...
Look at Big Sutton, he's like, what are you slavering about, man?
They had more quality, and that's the big thing that Rangers can't recover.
More hunger's a pretty big statement, though, isn't it? I mean, I take that Celtic...
So it was evident.
I totally agree with what you say, Kris, about Celtic's superior in every department.
Here he comes.
Just touching on the midfield area. The Rangers midfield 3 were set up to nullify Celtic. They don't have great quality, and even when they did sort of cancel the midfield 3 out, Kyogo is so intelligent the way that he comes into the spaces. Celtic are so superior, but for Rangers now, my question to Kris is this is going to really sort of put the pressure on Philippe Clement, but what happens next? They're gonna have to trust him? He's got all these new signings in. There is an enormous gulf. So we can sit here or stand here and talk about the merits of the match and how far Celtic are ahead of Rangers. But is there going to be that faith, Kris, in Philippe?
I don't know.
Hey there, you with the sad face. Come on in my place.
I don't know, Kris. I mean, looking at it, and it's... I mean, when you take the strategy from Rangers, albeit, listen, for weeks we kind of knew, the Celtic were going to, O'Reilly was going to go, and there was players coming in that have came in. That strategy was there. we listen to all transfer window. There's not the money to go and get Lawrence Shankland. There's not the money to go and get this one. There's not the money to go. And then all of a sudden, there's £3 million. If it is £3 million, appears to go and sign the Albanian boy who came on the pitch today. Listen, he might be a good player, but you're not trying to tell me that strategy. I mean, Rangers didn't get rid of or sell anybody. They can't move out the door for nothing, rightly so. Or whatever it was. Couldn't wait to get rid of him. But the whole structure, the whole strategy from top to bottom at Rangers Football Club is all over the place at this moment in time. And it's just a matter of, whenever there's a bit of criticism, we'll go and grab a couple of players, we'll appease the fans. There's no structure to anything that's getting done.
So it's okay saying that. What do you think should happen next?
I don't know. I'm not in there.
Well, that's what you're sort of paid to give an opinion about.
At this moment in time, I don't know, because there's that much change. What I've said to you there, if there had been a transfer window with a strategy, you'd have got your players in early doors. You can't be signing players for £1.5 million as they're going to improve, or the project players. When Celtic are spending £11 million.
Do you have faith in Philippe Clement?
Yeah, I do, because I go back to the start of last season, and there was a big improvement for Rangers. But there is a little bit of worry now because of, I would say, when you look at Rangers are weaker now, but as that came from a higher level, you're going to have to chop the wages, you're going to have to address that. So it's up to Philippe Clement now to use his football or his coaching to get the best out of these players. But what I will say is, and this is Philippe Clement seems to have more control at Rangers than what Brendan Rodgers does at Celtic, and that would be a worry.
What?
So where can he
That would be a worry.
You're having a laugh, mate. You're having a laugh.
What?
That would be a worry.
Can you just explain what you've just said?
So
based on what we've seen.
Stop cutting me off and I'll speak. From a period of time, all we heard from the Celtic fans were, and Brendan Rodgers was asking the question, I need to get my players in. Celtic were in control, they'll work together. Whereas, Rangers, where are they bringing these players from? There's a togetherness at Celtic working, to get the best.
Clement's bringing them in. Kris, didn't you understand that? But somehow you think that Brendan Rodgers doesn't have the clout that Clement has. Ooh. It's going to be a difficult and long evening for you, Kris.
Best for Celtic. At Rangers, I think it's individuals looking to get the best for them.
I'm going to give you a hug in the car park. We'll maybe do a huddle.
I'm not going to hear you. I've had enough of you.
I've had enough of you. Absolutely brilliant. Meltdown by Kris Boyd as per. And then Brendan was asked how he was feeling about the game today. Just like the rest of us, quite good, I would suspect.
I thought, firstly, defensively, we were really strong right to the very end. Probably a little bit in the first 10 minutes. We were just a fraction passive in our positioning to put pressure on the ball. But after that, okay. In the moments we had to defend, we defend well.
Yep.
But I thought, offensively, we were so exciting going forward.
Yep.
And
yeah.
we got 3 goals.
Yep.
The goal that was disallowed was a brilliant worked.
Never been disallowed.
Build up play and getting through. So
this
it looked so tight.
Offside.
That would have been a fantastic goal for us. So, but other opportunities in the game. I thought the speed in our game, how we attacked the space was exceptional in the game, and obviously we get 3 and maybe could have had a few more. So everything we want, make it really, really difficult for the opposition, and obviously the crowd played their part today as well. So
that.
Overall, fantastic result and performance.
You mentioned that disallowed goal. How much did that give you an extra spark and catalyst once you got that to go and kick on and get the 3 you actually did?
Yeah.
Before we go into that, I think that we should all give a round of applause to the fans today. The fans to a T were absolutely amazing. The Green Brigade tifo before the game and at half-time, absolutely amazing. Even the boys getting on in the action with a little bit of smoke before the game. It was absolutely fantastic. To a man, the Celtic support stayed to the end and made as much noise as possible. This gives me some excitement to the season ahead, some belief that the Champions League this year will be something special at those Celtic Park nights. So, with that being said, let's listen to the rest of what Brendan had to say. I mean, when you do look at the first goal and the offside, I mean, it's like the slightest bit of his elbow that's offside. And we've seen penalties that would have been given last season not given. The fact that the referee didn't even go to the monitor to look to see if it was really offside. Come on, it was the slightest bit ever. Was it offside? I don't think it should have been offside. But what it did do is it made sure that it manifested the players into a belief that they can do this and they can take control of the game, which they did.
Well, sometimes that's what it is. You need something to inspire you within the game. But these games they can always be fret. But I thought some of our play was absolutely outstanding. So, but now once we got the first goal, then you could see everything grow and develop from them.
K McGregor was saying you didn't really want the first half to come to an end, given how sort of rampant you were at the end of that first half. Is that the pleasing thing? You just kept going for more.
Yeah, well, it's about we aim to make it as difficult as we can for the opposition. That's the idea. So we never want to rest on 2-0. We want to get 3, 4, 5, and it could have been that in the second half.
Yeah, no.
I mentioned your captain. Just how pleased were you with his performance today, and how much he is the driving force of this team?
Before Brendan says anything about the captain, I asked the question on the live the other night, could Callum McGregor be Celtic's player of the year? I asked that question on the live the other night, and quite a lot of people said yes. And once again, today, him getting man of the match, I mean, he bossed the game, really. I thought Paulo Bernardo had a fantastic game. He stood up to the loss of Matt O'Reilly quite well. He was amazing. I thought that the one and only Rio in midfield, he was absolutely outstanding at times today. He was unlucky with one cross, but some of his play was absolutely perfect. But Callum McGregor, can Callum McGregor become the player to be the Players' Player of the Year this season?
Well, he is. He's such an incredible captain, and he's obviously having to try to be shackled today with Diamande trying to do that sort of man-marking job on him when he had the ball. But he's so clever, Cal. He knows when to attract the marker, when to then drop him and attack the space. And obviously his goal, I said to him the other day about, 3 goals in 3 league games, and I don't think he's done that before. So yeah, he was outstanding.
You mentioned
he was that. He was fantastic. Let's just say it. Brendan was then asked how much more he thinks there is to come for the team, considering we brought in all the new players that were brought into Celtic. We brought in the majority of them today. I think Celtic have still got a lot of growth in this team, which is fantastic. But Brendan says
there always has to be more. I think that we can, like I said, that our pressing has been really, really good, and for a lot of the game it was today. You've seen that hunger and that ability to double up around players. So I was really, really pleased with that. But there's other aspects that we will analyse when we look back on the game where we can improve. But I think you see the level that the players are at and the mentality that they're at. We're in a really good place, but it's so early in the season, and there's a lot more growth to come.
You were able to drip feed some of the new players in as well today. How good was that for you to be able to do that, and what do you expect from them going forward?
Well, I think it will be a squad game for us. It's really nice that Arna comes in, Luke comes in. Adam obviously understands, having been at the club. But those guys know the challenge to keep the intensity, keep the mentality in the game. And great for Luke, coming in. Big Celtic supporter, so he comes in, makes his first appearance in a Celtic Rangers game. So that'll give him great pride, and now he knows how we function, how we operate. He'll hopefully only get better. But no, it will be a collective for us this season, and that was always the message.
It was always the message, and a special shout goes out to the Rangers player, the Rangers player who come on and blessed himself fully. As he comes on the pitch. Oh, could you imagine the Huns sitting at home going, the fucking tellies are all being kicked in all over the place. Now, one of the good things about today is there was a lot of players under pressure. There was a lot of players under pressure today to perform. There was Greg Taylor, who was under pressure because there's a new kid from Barcelona has come in to Celtic. Greg Taylor was under pressure and he performed well today. There was people all around the pitch that were really under pressure to perform today, but there can only be one meltdown. And we're going to finish off the video leaving the meltdown of all meltdowns to the one and only Kris Boyd. He feels so sad now, doesn't he?
I mean, I get the fact that you might look at. I mean, one of the key things that jumps out at me is average age. Celtic's average age today was 27. Rangers are 26.
It was out 27. No,
Nothing to do with age. Again, I'm fed up with excuses. Philip Clement arrived here and it was a breath of fresh air for me anyway. I thought, positive thinking, strong leader, felt as if came across. But I mean, recently I don't like it. I don't. There's something there that I don't like the excuses. I mean, it's easy to say that we're not improved, we're not this.
I mean, the chances
were created. Rangers started the game better, but the chances they were offside. I mean, it's easy to say if we'd have scored, but football doesn't work like that. You had a good 10 minutes. There's another 80 minutes. The worrying thing for me would be that Rangers absolutely capitulated once Celtic scored that goal that was offside. Capitulated, and that would be a worry. I think looking at it, as I said, Rangers, it's quite clear what has happened.
They got beat.
In terms of the players that have came in, it's clear as day as what's happened. In terms of they've arrived, you can see them all here. They've replaced certain. The transfer fees will be spread over a period of time, and the wages will be nowhere near the level of what Barisic, Golson, Lundstrom, Cantwell, Ryan Jack, Seema, obviously back at Ben Davis. So they've trimmed the wage bill. The transfer fees will spread over a period of time, but they're not any better than what's left.
It had
to happen, but because of going back to what I've said, the mismanagement after Rangers won the league, the mismanagement's there. There's people getting away.
Whoa! Wait a minute here. First of all, in the first half of the video, you have an ex-Rangers player talking about a team that was 20 years ago. You've now got Kris Boyd talking about a team that won the season 4 years ago.
From back then.
But is this not what Philip Clement addressed and said that they are now trying to fix going forward, which will take time?
And it will take time. But you don't get time. You mean you win games of football? So all of a sudden, we're now looking at the 2nd of January's next Old Firm game. So could Rangers go on a run between now and Scotland, between now and then, without losing another game in Scotland?
No.
Yes, because they should, because everybody, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, Rangers are coming, they're back, they're going to start winning the league, they're going to challenge everything. Then Celtic come to Ibrox, win comfortable again, all of a sudden, it's, this is not working again. There's no... The structure, I'll go back to it again. Steven Gerrard probably, and I don't know for definite, probably left the football club because he didn't see it going the way he wanted to get.
He shot it for Big Ange.
I think when they signed Bacuna for $2.5 million, Bacuna, the players that have came in, they're no longer at the football club. That's not a strategy. Celtic have brought them in, and I get the fact when you're winning games of football, you can bring them in, you can improve them, you can make them play the way you want to play. Rangers are miles off it. And as I said, all we keep doing is to get to Celtic, concentrate and finish ahead of the rest.
I feel this might be continued in 2 weeks'
Good
time
luck
at
from my wife
Tannadice.
tonight.
Oh. No, that's no nice. That's no nice. And especially, that's not nice. That is not nice because we all know that when a certain team loses in Glasgow, there's a crime count that goes up. So I think Kris Boyd should be made to apologise for that and apologise to the women of Scotland who have to put up with the domestic abuse, because no woman in the world should have to put up with any kind of domestic abuse, be it mental or physical. But on that note, Celtic won. I'll see you on the live.